Hey guys, we have another week of some very intense, like high-powered, volatile, and dynamic energy playing out. We still have this big Mars-Uranus square that is just like reverberating through the sky, but we have an Aries moon going on Monday and Tuesday to start this week, as well as we are in this 7-day window right now, this week in this month of March that is representing some extreme action because of the fact that the moon is currently transiting all of the signs where all of the planets are right now: Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, now where we are today, moving into Taurus as we move towards the end of the week. So there is just a lot going on. It might feel like one thing after another. People could also really be losing their cool in the energy right now. This is a reckless energy, a very impulsive energy. I do want to issue sort of a little bit of a red flag warning out there. Things could just really kind of like be popping off. Very little self-control. People sort of wanting to rush ahead, make things happen. Not so much a regard for, consequences and how personal actions are impacting others. We just have some very heated, perhaps contentious, and, volatile energy going on. That being said, you guys, let's just get into it. Let's talk about this, how things are coming together for us, why it's like this, what we might be able to expect as we begin our week and move towards the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, March 11th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I've also done a collective tarot reading for us today. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality when I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an additional energetic perspective on what's going on out there. We will get to that at the end. Let's start off with the astrology, you guys. Like I said in my intro, we really are very much in the thick of things this week. We are actually in a 7-day window right now, which has been representative of some very high activity. Could be a very busy week. Like I said, sort of like one thing after another. You might be having some difficulty catching your breath, feel like you're caught up perhaps in somewhat of a whirlwind. This 7-day period, we do have the moon transiting the 4 signs of the zodiac that are actually hosting all of the planets right now. We have some kind of unique planetary setups going on in the cosmos. All of the planets are really like grouped in one wedge, one quadrant of the zodiac, ranging between Aquarius and Taurus right now. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, that's where all of the planets are. So right now we happen to be going through the week of the month when the moon is transiting through those particular signs and lighting up all of those planets. The moon functions as like a trigger for activating energy. So when we have the moon coming into alignment with all of the planets and activating some of the aspects that they're in with each other as well, this is just going to be a supercharged week period of time when things are happening. Momentum is building. And as I said, it might just seem like we can't catch a break. Like things are just one thing after another. So if that is part of your experience, that's probably why. Now, on the other side of things, we have an aspect that is playing out in the sky right now as well, which is doing a lot of the same type of work, and that is this Mars-Uranus square that we've had ongoing this past couple of days that has been being activated by the moon as the moon has been transiting through this quadrant of the zodiac and lighting up all these planets. And this is a very volatile energy, okay? I do want to say, sort of like to start this report, I am issuing sort of a bit of like just a caution flag, maybe a little bit of a red flag for especially Monday and Tuesday of this week. There's just likely to be an enhanced likelihood or potential for, volatility, people sort of spinning out of control. There could definitely be some anger or just some like explosive type of stuff going on that is kind of coming out of just nowhere and really could be upsetting some comfort zones, disturbing some peace. I do think this is a really good week to sort of like stay in your own lane, practice maybe like non-interference unless there's absolutely no other way. Kind of just like stay out of people's way, especially if they're people that you notoriously know have kind of like an issue with maybe ego issues or anger issues or issues with self-control or being sort of like overly impulsive or just, have a tendency to kind of snap or like have very short temper and stuff like that. Probably best to just not get yourself overly involved if you don't have to. There is a very hypercharged energetic environment this week, and you know, passions are likely to be running high, energy levels are likely to be running high, and people are probably going to be like in a rush to move forward, to get somewhere, to get something done, to tell someone something. Very little patience is coming through in the energetic atmosphere of this week. So, you know, that may be something that you're feeling like, and, you know, you're kind of struggling with on an internal level. There is this kind of like internalized fight or flight response, I feel like the sympathetic nervous response that is just like to be like very wired. Like we may feel ourselves just kind of like very on edge, kind of like very little chill. And again, you know, frazzled nerves maybe, but like not a whole bunch of patience. So anything that we can do to kind of maybe channel some of this excess nervous energy into productive changes going on within ourselves, within our personal lives, within our own lives somehow, this is where we want to direct our energy. We do not want to direct this energy like by trying to control things in our external environment. We have a lot of Aries energy that is coming in as we are moving through the beginning of this week. We have this Aries moon going on, which I'm going to talk all about in this report, which is contributing to the enhanced combustion of what is already just like a very electrified and unpredictable energy that we have coming through with the Mars-Uranus square. The moon transiting Aries is like really setting this off to an even higher level. You know, we've got the moon transiting through Aries, we've got Mercury in Aries, we've also got a North Node in Chiron in Aries right now. Something like propelling us, like compelling us to like move forward towards something, to do something, to act somehow. And again, Mars, this is our action. This is ruling the position of the moon. This is ruling the position of Mercury in the square to Uranus, to act suddenly, you know, to act impulsively, to act in a way that breaks us free from something. This is a very rebellious, revolutionary, like assertive energy. People are going to be standing in their power, you know what I mean? Like people are going to be trying to be their own boss and not really willing to, you know, take orders necessarily, to like bend the knee. This is sort of like, you've pushed me to the breaking point, you know, this is like the last straw energy, and now I'm gonna do something about it, and I'm not even necessarily gonna think it through, and I'm kind of just gonna go. So if you find yourself caught up in that type of sentiment or playing witness to that type of circumstance that's playing out around you, that really is just primed in the energetic field right now. Stay out of people's way. Like I said, if possible, people are probably going to be having anger issues or just being very passionate, very motivated, very assertive. They could also be being very aggressive in this energy, taking action out of anger, out of impulse, perhaps very driven, you know, again, by some type of passion. And if you find yourself kind of whipped up in something, I do think it's best maybe to take a step back instead of forward, even though all the compulsion will be to move forward, or maybe just stay still for a minute and try to catch your breath, try to stay grounded. With the Mercury in Aries right now as well, and the moon in Aries, this is not long-term thinking, okay? This is not strategic thinking. This is impulsive thinking and feeling. This is, I have a feeling about something, I have a thought about something, my feelings and my thoughts about that thing are on the same page, and I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm just taking the risk, I'm just flying ahead. Like I'm not considering all the various elements and the details and the bigger picture and what perhaps could happen next, cause and effect, you know? So I do feel like knowing that is a tendency in this energy, and also understanding that the point of that tendency in this energy is to agitate change, is to cause shakeups to the extent that we gain an awareness about something. Oh, look, like I see this now because, you know, all of this happened and I'm in this situation and this is what it has brought to my awareness, and I'm going to be making some changes going forward. Like this is an energy that, you know, the higher octaves of this energy are functioning actually to set us free on some level, to get in alignment with some type of, you know, potential or destiny or, you know, action or activity or something we need to be involved in, or some behavior shift or change or something like that, that is gonna like do something productive, beneficial to change our lives and actually upgrade us in some way moving forward. But it's gonna do that most likely through disturbing the peace, upsetting comfort zones, you know, just something coming out of nowhere and totally bringing a wrecking ball. It's the lightning striking the tower energy that we are dealing in right now. The purpose of this energy is to agitate us, shake us up, make us uncomfortable to the point that we awaken to something, that we gain an awareness about something, that we decide to change something, but it just may not be the most settling, okay, the way that this, whatever plays out, comes to pass. Likely to be manifesting in two ways primarily when it comes to, you know, how we're seeing people behave and respond to this energy. On one hand, as I was mentioning earlier, asserting the self, standing up for oneself, defending one's position, not backing down from a fight. This is bringing this rebellious, revolutionary gusto, okay? This is this masculine energy, whether it be the divine masculine energy or the distorted masculine energy, that is taking charge, okay? That is not willing to be dominated. But on the flip side, you know, the other way that this energy could be manifesting, this is aggression, this is violence, this is like unexpected attacks, ego dominance that is driving energy or driving actions as well, explosive like happenings, explosive actions and events going on as a result perhaps of, you know, things coming to a head in such a way where, you know, one side is demanding freedom and the other side like is not willing to take no for an answer. So, and you know, again, with Mercury in the sign of Aries right now, the way our mind is working is also very much wrapped up in this fiery energy, and the moon coming through there is the mental and the emotional coherence going on along the lines of whatever it takes to free myself from a situation. Don't be surprised if people are taking like radical sudden actions to kind of like about face or like turn on a dime in some way. This is commitment breaking energy very much as well. We're talking about Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which is, you know, partnerships, agreements, commitments, working relationships with others, very non-committal energy or breaking commitment energy suddenly out of nowhere happening. But I'm telling you guys, like, if you are experiencing sudden change, this is also like sudden endings and beginnings type of energy. Do your best to surrender to the changes that are happening now. Anything that is leaving your life right now, it's for the best, even if it is painful or even if it doesn't appear that way in the moment. Something about, you know, this energy right now, anything that is not real, that is not true, that is not an authentic alignment with who we are truly meant to become going forward in this life. These are the weeds essentially that are being pulled right now from our experience. It may have been a situation or a circumstance or a relationship that suited us just fine all of the years in the past, but we have reached a point where we can no longer stand in denial of the greater destiny, the higher purpose, the higher self that universe has as a divine vision for our lives. And if we're being called upon at this point in time to awaken and go through this period of soul growth and evolution in alignment with our transition into the age of Aquarius right now and this Pluto Aquarius generation that's coming in over this next 20 years, we can't deny the call of our soul, you know, the tower moments that are going on right now. Do your best to surrender the burden to a higher power, surrender to the process of change, and to maintain, you know, despite it all, despite appearances, faith in your heart that this is something that will work out for you, for your interests. When the cards, you know, I say this all the time, you know, when the cards fall and the dust settles and you're looking around, you will be in a better place than you are now. And that is the direction that things are heading, even if it's a difficult, bumpy, you know, disastrously seeming path to get there. So I think that we could, you know, people could generally, like on a more collective level, be going through these type of experiences coming up this week as well. The heat, you guys, really is just turned all the way up, and it's heat and it's electricity and it's all happening at once. There could be some kind of intense storms, like literal, like physical storms that happen out of nowhere unexpectedly this week. So if you live in, you know, a region that is prone to bad weather or to, you know, dangerous weather and stuff like that. You might want to practice some weather awareness as we go throughout this week as well. Mars and square to Uranus, especially with Uranus in an earth sign, and Mars in the sign of Aquarius. This could bring like sudden like big lightning storms or like tornadoes and just stuff that happened quickly, but like could be very like severe in their impact. This is combustion, right? This is revolution that we are moving towards. Venus is also at 29 degrees of Aquarius on Monday when we start our week, and we've got this Aries moon going on. We've got this Mars Uranus square that is also putting an emphasis on the need and the desire to like change things once and for all. We are going to have some shifting vibes going on as Venus leaves Aquarius on Monday, heads into the sign of Pisces on Tuesday. So that may bring, you know, a bit of a shift in our preferences and you know, how we're kind of just like wanting to spend our time and our energy and like what we're attracted to over this course of this. You know, Venus changes signs about every like 30 days or so. So this is a pretty regular energy, but we are going from Venus in Aquarius, which is the draw to doing things differently, to Venus in Pisces, which really may just have us wanting to kind of take a chill pill, okay? Relax, rest, like disengage, which actually after we get through the energy of this week, if you guys watched my monthly overview, I was talking about how actually the third week in March, following on the heels of this like bang, 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 like nonstop dynamism that we have going on the second week between the 7th and the 14th of March, as we move into the third week, actually we kind of like reground into a higher spiritual energy. We're going to go through a processing period. There could be some remarkable or like just very tangible spiritual experiences that we have moving into the energy of next week, which is kind of in alignment with Venus transitioning into the sign of Pisces, and, you know, having the draw, the attraction perhaps be towards maybe like, you know, kicking the feet back and, you know, just taking a bit of a rest, recovering over this next couple of weeks while Venus does her transit of the sign of Pisces. This is kind of like a daydreamy, creative, not so like change-based energy as we have had going on with the Venus Aquarius energy this past several weeks, which has also been a mutual reception between Venus in Aquarius and Uranus, ruler of Aquarius, in the sign of Taurus. So our desire to change, to do things different, is likely to kind of like slow down a bit as we go through this next couple of weeks as well. But definitely, at least to start the week on Monday, it is all about like, move out of my way. I have a mission. I have something that I like need to get done. I have something that I'm moving towards, and I do not have the time or the patience or the will to like entertain anything that I feel like is interfering with my progress right now. So go ahead and just like move to the side and let me through, you know what I mean? So the best, the more that you can accommodate that by simply staying in your own lane and practicing situational awareness. We're gonna want to try to be maybe hyper observant, hyper aware. Hyper is the key word of the week. I do feel like with this hypercharged, hyper stimulated, that's another thing, like hyper stimulation. Don't be surprised, especially if like young kids and stuff, or even grown-ups, are having just like legit meltdowns going on this week, because there is probably going to be, you know, circumstances that are just leaving us feeling quite hyper-stimulated, frazzled, burnt out, needing to maybe collapse into a puddle on the ground, which, like I said, that is the energy coming next week. So stick with it, you guys. We're going to get to a place where we can, you know, tune more into the parasympathetic nervous system, key ourselves back down, you know, relax, breathe, rest, process. That's the energy that's coming. But this week, it's really just like turned all the way up, okay? And another thing, the moon transiting the sign of Aries, this means the moon is also like coming right towards, heading towards, between Monday and Tuesday, will conjunct the North Node, the destiny point, and also Chiron, the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype, in the sign of Aries, okay? The North Node Chiron conjunction, I've been talking about this. This came exact a couple of weeks ago. This is still a very relevant theme that we have going on in our energetic environment right now. And this is calling for either some type of wounding to occur that is going to begin a process of internalized awakening that is going to ultimately, lead to some type of personal transmutation, self-mastery, release from karmic cycles, or depending on our personal relationship with the Chiron archetype in our own chart and in our own lives, or activating a personal phase of self-mastery where we step into sort of the role of the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype as a result of our own process of transmuting our previous states of victimhood, trauma, wounding into these greater states of self-mastery through the lessons that we've learned through our hero's journey process, and holding the lantern up for others, being example for others who are beginning their hero's journey in this energy. There is a need right now for humanity collectively to go through a process of evolution represented through personal transmutation that has everything to do with us, alchemizing essentially from states of victimhood to states of self-mastery through the hero's journey, which is represented by the Chiron archetype. This is a process where we initially experience some type of wounding, trauma, betrayal, loss as a result of some type of karmic cycle that is underway. And in order to break out of that karmic cycle, we need to be able to gain wisdom through the painful experiences that we've gone through. We need to come to a point where, through our process of dealing with the experiences that we've gone through, we begin to understand the ways that our suffering has actually become a benefit to us on some level that can bring us actually to an enhanced state of personal power based on that recognition, based on that reflection. And as we begin to shift our self-perception away from the victim to the one who has become empowered based on what we've gained through that process, it sets us on a path to healing, to release, to ultimately forgiveness that then breaks us through that cycle and unlocks a world going forward where we are where we play a much more conscious role in the creation of our experiences and what we're attracting into our lives, because we're no longer operating from a subconscious trauma-based programming that is represented with the early phase of the Chiron archetype. So the way that I'm seeing it right now is we have a North Node, the destiny point, the collective destiny, the next phase of growth and evolution on a collective level, coming into alignment with Chiron. This is a period in time where people are the hero's journey is an essential, that everything that I just described is an essential part of the evolution of humanity right now, and of our transition into the age of Aquarius, and of removing blockages to organic growth so that that facilitation of destiny on a higher level can, more collectively take place, rooting in these new Aquarian frequencies, anchoring them to the planet, and helping everything to go, our cosmos essentially to go through the process of expansion that we are being called forth into right now, in correspondence with universe and the cosmic blueprint as it's unfolding. So, I do feel like on one hand, this is going to be, it's going to be the range of the Chiron archetype, both the initial wounding that is associated with the ultimate self-mastery, transmutation, alchemization, and release. So it's going to be functioning, the people, as I said, that have had and that have been intertwined with and that have been on a hero's journey for a very long period of time and are familiar with this archetype and have come to the place in the awakening internally where they are, and have released themselves from all of that, like I said, and have done this, okay? These people, on one hand, I feel like are going to be very activated to, be like the lantern bearers, like the light bearers, leading through example for others. And then I feel like there's going to be another big portion of the collective that experiences the initial trauma associated with the hero's journey so that they also begin the process of transmutation, alchemization, awakening, and breaking these karmic cycles. Because as we are moving into the age of Aquarius, we have to release ourselves from the karma of the past. Aquarius is a sign all about breaking free from restrictions that have limited destiny, essentially, that have limited authentic potential. So that's kind of, you know, and when you look at it in the context of the other aspects that are playing out right now, Pluto in Aquarius, right? The transition from centralized to decentralized power. We're looking at the Mars-Uranus square. This is this radical change that helps us to break ourselves free from anywhere that has been essentially like stifling our growth or our alignment with the truth of, you know, our destiny or that higher purpose or that higher potential. Awakening to some very deep personal truths. Mars is a sign of the self. And that's another thing. When we've got the Mercury in Aries, when we've got the Moon in Aries, when we've got the Mars-Uranus square, and Uranus in Aquarius, this is about the individual. This is a very like self-involved, self-motivated, self-centered type of energy. And again, we do best to use it that way. We do best to stay in our own lane. We do best to direct our energy inwards towards self-improvement, personal upgrades, actively creating changes in ways that are benefiting us and that are like leading to some type of productive result or releasing us from something that has not been good for us. Self-directed use of this energy for productive change is the best way to interact with these frequencies right now to get the best result. Trying to control other people, trying to, you know, exert our force outwardly on others right now, that is not the way that this energy is functioning, especially with the South Node transiting the sign of Libra right now. We need to release the grip that other people have had over our lives and our identity, and simultaneous to that, the force that we have exerted in any way over the relationships in our lives or over, you know, our partnerships or, you know, whatever, groups, social situations, any of that. This is the time for us, you know, that saying, like, be the change. This is the time for us to be the change in our own lives. And if you want to help somebody, leading by example is the best way to do it in this energy, and not trying to take your energy and put it, or your ideas or your momentum or your truth, and like put that as an overlay over someone else's reality right now, because this is about us all getting to the root of our own journey, okay, of who we really are, of what we're really about, of what we're really passionate about, of what we truly like know in our heart we're meant to become. And that's going to be different for everybody. So being as, you know, focused in this energy, I do feel like is gonna benefit us, okay? We want to be careful. Again, you know, this is a more crisis-oriented energy, accident-prone energy. People are gonna be experiencing issues with containing themselves, you know, as I just said. Be careful. I would avoid crowds if you can this week. Don't take risks if you don't need to. Be cautious. Be observant. Slow down. Pay attention. Don't do things, as I was saying earlier, in like a reckless or like a whipped up state of emotion, or even if you just get a thought that comes into your head real quick, if you can, take time to, you know, maybe slow down before just launching into action. Also be on high alert, like I said, or like I started to say earlier. I don't even know if I finished this thought, but being like hyper aware of our environment, hyper observant of what's going on around us. This is probably going to be beneficial as well. Also, the spidey senses are likely to be running quite high. If you get a little tingling, get a, you know, an inner feeling, the hair on the back of your neck stands up about something, pay attention to that. It can be, you know, as I said, a more crisis prone energy. It's like everything is sort of feeling like a tinderbox a little bit right now. Things can be happening very suddenly, looking to set things off in a way that is unexpected, disruptive, and shakes us into some type of an awareness somehow, brings abrupt change, abrupt redirection. And this is also energy that's likely to be inviting different experiences and activities than we normally engage in. There could be generally sort of like some abnormal things taking place going on in our lives this week, even if it's just like happen to be out of town this week, like on vacation this week, like you have plans to do something with people that you don't normally do, or you're doing something like just kind of like exciting or stimulating or out of the ordinary. That type of stuff can also go on when we have Mars Uranus energy, very exciting, fast-paced, you know, high-speed type of stuff as well. Awkward things can also just randomly awkwardly happen that maybe feel like a bit like unexplainable or just bizarre in the energy when we have these planets coming together. And energy is probably going to be running super, super high. People, as I've said, I feel like a couple times, going to be turned all the way up. Also anxiety, anticipation, the sense that something is building, that something is coming, excitement, nervous tension, difficulty settling down, difficulty sleeping, eating. Also, you might find your appetite to just be like real kind of low or like hit or miss sort of over this next couple of days. You may find yourself again like it's like crack, okay, to the nervous system, this energy is, and you may find yourself just like caught in the state of sympathetic nervous responses, you know, fight or flight, and unable to even really know why, on edge. If that is how you're feeling, don't, you know, freak out. You're just picking up on the collective energy right now. And I'm telling you guys, as this Aquarius energy becomes stronger, you know, Pluto moves more into Aquarius, we edge more towards this age of Aquarius energy, you're probably going to become significantly more psychic in a way that you have a conscious awareness of. You know, humanity is a psychic species, but we're largely unaware. We filter out because we, you know, we just, well, actually, I think that for a long time, these psychic tendencies were much more latent within us. But as we move forth into this new Aquarius energy, I think we're just generally going to gain a greater access to kind of even like the area of our brain where that type of activity is taking place. So it's just going to be a more palpable, tangible experience when we are getting psychic impressions about stuff. Like we're going to be able to feel it, where maybe in the past it was more diluted, more dulled or numbed out, or just we didn't have as much access to that particular part of our brain or the way that those synapses were hitting. So, you know, if you feel like you got those spidey senses going on, again, like I would pay attention to that. You know, I don't personally love it. I don't personally love the energy this week. It does feel just like very kind of like overstimulating to me. A lot of times when this big, strong, you know, Aquarian, Mars, Uranus squares and stuff come through, you know, if you do have a lot of Aquarius energy, or if you have a lot of energy in that specific quadrant of the zodiac, Aquarius, Taurus, Pisces, Aries, you may really just be kind of feeling drained, feeling burnt out, feeling like frazzled and just very ungrounded as we move through the week. But again, if you're feeling that, you know, take heed in the knowledge that energy is really going to shift after we get through the 14th. Things are going to come down a lot, and we are going to have kind of a nice period of reflection, of processing, and of perhaps even some like spiritual inspiration or a spiritual experience that may be, I don't know, like healing us on some level, or helping us to finally let go of something, or making things make more sense, or giving us the faith somehow, or like, you know, or the perspective that things are happening for a reason. So, you know, this energy, I have no expectation of it being comfortable this week. This is ultimately breakthroughs in progress, even if it doesn't come in the prettiest or most comforting packages, okay? This is true dynamism, and it's purposeful. So even if it's not, you know, the most fun time ever, universe is definitely driving things forward, maybe taking a wrecking ball to something that in some way wakes us up somehow, but, you know, the wake-up calls are coming through. This is a burst of future focus and forward momentum. Drive your own active change this week. Make a personal breakthrough. You'll surprise yourself. That's another way this energy could play out. You can really surprise yourself with what you can truly accomplish and what you can do and what you can get done, or who you could even become. The progress that you can make if you align your mind, right? Mercury in Aries, your emotions, right? The moon in Aries, and your willpower, Mars and square to Uranus, put put those things behind it, get something done, and you really could shock yourself with what you're able to accomplish in the energy this week. You know, as I was saying, be the change in the world this week, be the change in your own world that allows you to be the examples for others. If you want to make an impact somehow, stay in your own lane, lead through example, not interference. As I said, this is a very self-focused energy. Use it this week to get real with yourself and change your life for the better. The back side of this, as I said, which is going to be happening, you know, inherently, most likely anyways, is this fated release from karmic cycles represented by the Chiron North Node activation that is coming into our lives right now as well, whether it's just starting or whether we have come to the point in it where our role is to step into a leadership position and, you know, help others along that path as well. The hero's journey is beginning now through some wound or trauma being inflicted, or through some higher position of like wisdom or experience that we need to step into now to be that example for others. Okay, so victim situations being activated, but also simultaneously we have the healers and the light workers and the teachers. Okay, the master teacher archetype also being activated to assist the process of personal alchemy, evolution, and self-actualization on those higher levels. We also have some kind of interesting symbolism going on, I feel like, along these lines, and like in terms of, you know, where this energy is ultimately trying to take us as we move through this week. The sun is at 22 Pisces, a man bringing down the new law from Sinai, right? New changes that are redefining the way that things are going to be operating moving forward. We also have Mercury at 3 degrees of Aries, a cameo profile of the man, of a man in the outline of his country. This to me is about truly like standing in our own truth, like not hiding from our own authentic, you know, whatever it is. We also have 22 degrees of Virgo, the position of the earth, a royal coat of arms enriched with precious stones. I don't know, like I just feel like there's something of value that we are coming to discover right now that is in somehow or in some way either changing us back into a more authentic version of ourselves, or changing us into someone that we feel we've always been meant to become, but maybe, you know, we couldn't for one reason or another. Something to do with value, something to do with change and new ways going forward, and something also to do with us standing like legitimately true to ourselves. Again, like I was saying, I don't think people are going to be backing down from a fight this week. I don't think people are going to be hiding from conflict. I don't think that you should be out there trying to initiate or spark or start conflict at all either, unless you really want to go at it. I don't know. I personally, that's not my style, but if that's your style, hey, maybe that's what you need to do to create some type of space or movement or change or stimulation or something in your life somehow. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just saying and calling it how I see it, from the way that the patterns are expressing themselves and the way that energy seems to be coming together. So proceed with caution, guys. But I don't, you know, it's all for the best, you know, it's all good. This is all about personal upgrades, okay? This is about shaking us out of any type of delusion about who we truly are and why we can't become that. So that's what I gotta say. We actually have a very short tarot message going on today as well that is really, I mean, what do you guys think? We got two cards. We've got a card that came out, which is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And then we had a card on the back of the deck, which is the Emperor. To me, this is exactly kind of saying what the energy of the astrology is boiling down to. We are not playing the victim role anymore. Like, we're not settling for less. Like, we're not going to see ourselves on the outside. We're not bending the knee. We're not, you know, surrendering our power for external validation. Like, we don't care about being accepted. Like, we're no longer viewing ourselves from a place of personal weakness. Look at this. This is the Five of Pentacles. This is a card like really all about you know, being in states of victimhood and being cast out and being, you know, in a state of weakness and surrendering power and not having enough. But with this in reverse, it's like, no, 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 no. That's not what's going on. That's not the past. We've got the Emperor, which is literally the exact polar energy to the Five of Pentacles. So, you know, in terms of the collective energy this week, again, like, especially where we've been, you know, like the downtrodden, or where we've been victimized before, or where we've been suppressed or limited or held back. Again, like Mars square Uranus, anywhere where there is something that is overly restrictive to our freedom, to, you know, what's righteous, right? Like to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, essentially, when we're talking about Mars in the sign of Aquarius, to our ability to grow and to become and to be free. And, you know, we've also got this we've got all this Aries energy going on while we've got Mars in the square to Uranus. It's about stepping into our own personal leadership era. It's about taking control back of our own lives and our own world. It's about being the boss in our own experience, you know, guiding our own ship, going, you know, having the courage and the strength and the personal power to do something different, to make a change, to release ourselves from the states of victimhood, or where we've surrendered our power in the past to, you know, perhaps like receive some type of external validation or some type of, you know, physical material security in some way, somehow. That's no longer the priority, you guys. What is the priority right now is our destiny, essentially, is what we feel coming to the surface within us, and us coming to a place of personal power within our own lives and experience to, you know, move forward in a direction that is no longer in any way, you know, diminishing us, diminishing our potential, diminishing our personal power and what we can do with it moving forward. So that's the tarot message, you guys. And there is definitely, I feel like, people going to be standing their ground, not willing to really compromise on the things that are important to them, especially if it's related to any type of truth, any type of freedom, any type of like progress or forward movement this week. So it'll be interesting to see what comes up, you guys. Let's get one more card, synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What else do we need to know? What would be a good piece of advice for us to carry with us Monday and Tuesday this week, which are, you know, just these very heated, the potential for some very heated stuff going on. And it says, you guys, a blessing in disguise, which is the whole vibe right now. And, you know, so much of what we've been talking about lately is the nature of things right now to just not be as they appear. And we're also talking about this Uranus Aquarius energy, which brings blessings in disguise. And the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, 1 Samuel 12:18. Thunder and lightning can be frightening and give us a scare, but it is followed by a blessed rain. You are divinely guided. Blessings follow. Again, you know, this is the lightning hitting the tower card. We also right now currently have Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is an unexpected thunderstorm. We also have the South Node right now at 16 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is after a storm. A boat dock stands in need of reconstruction. And, you know, we've got, like I said, Mars, Uranus in a square and fixed signs, Uranus in Taurus, Earth sign. There could be some sudden, like, literal storms that are coming out of nowhere as well. So maybe be aware of that. But, you know, just generically as a metaphor, this is the lightning striking the tower energy. But it is a blessing in disguise. Things are not as they seem. Things are not as they appear. And you are divinely guided, and blessings follow. And remember what I said, next week is not going to be this week. Next week, energy is going to be way different than what we have going on now. And it really does indicate some type of spiritual blessing, spiritual connection, higher spiritual knowing, spiritual healing coming in through the energy this week. So blessings, I do feel like, are going to follow whatever perhaps chaos we could be navigating this week. It's all good, you guys. Do not put a negative spin. Do not put a negative perspective, you know, in your mind based on the frustrations or the irritations or, you know, the things that could be getting in our way or coming up this week. Somehow everything is working in your favor, and we just got to trust that, and we got to move forward with the faith that that is the truth, despite, you know, whatever might be coming up in the moment. So that's what I'm going to say today, you guys. I hope you liked it. Message from the stars, message from the cards. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would enjoy this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for your presence on my channel. I really appreciate knowing what's going on out there with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you are having experiences that align with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard, I have a Facebook group in my description box below where I post these whiteboard images, and Janice Shellman, who created the synchronicity cards, also posts the synchronicity cards in that Facebook group as well. So if you're interested in any of that, that's where you will find it. Come back with me on Wednesday, you guys. We will be getting back into this you know, extreme astrology going on. We will be closing out our 7-day window of bang, 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 like one thing after another, activity, dynamism, explosive energy. And I'll be here to talk about it, and you should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful opening to your week, and until next time, bye.